You're listening to Catching Up with Robin, broadcasting live from Austin, Texas.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Catching Up with Robin. I'm Robin.
I'm Ajante.
And I want to welcome you to tonight's show. Now, I want to come to you and talk to you about what the title says. It's almost time. And what is it almost time for? It is almost time for our interview with the one, the only, Mr. Rodney Allen Rippey. And I am super excited. I'm not only super excited, I am honored for this interview. You know, all of my interviews, I appreciate, the individuals that I reach out to and ask them if they will be a part of the show. I'm appreciative to everyone. But this interview, I'm really honored to have. The show is tomorrow. It comes on Central Standard Time because we're here in Austin from 1:30 to 2:30. So Mr. Rippey is in California, so for him, the show will be from 11:30 to 12:30. Now, his actual interview time, when he's going to actually call into the studio and when we're actually going to be set to start the interview is 1:45 to 2:25. And so, today I worked on some questions that I wanted to ask Mr. Rodney Allen Rippey, so that way he would be familiar with what we're going to talk about. And also, I just like to show that respect to the interview guests by sending out questions to everyone that I talk to and just make sure that they're comfortable with what I'm talking about, and also to give them a chance to see if there's something else that they would like to add, if there's something coming up that they want to promote or, that they're going to, be a part of. Maybe it's an appearance. So, I sent him the questions, and then I actually called him to let him know that I sent him the questions. That way, when he had a chance today or tomorrow, he could check his email. And so he actually called me back because when I called him, it went to his voicemail. And so he called me back, and we had a nice conversation, as I have been doing over the past 2 weeks that I've been talking to him. We've been having some very nice conversations. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and even on air with him, I'll say it again tomorrow. I'm finding Rodney to be a very, very nice young man. He's always polite when I talk to him. He always gives me, time to say what it is that I want to say. He always gives me time to ask him questions. He doesn't cut me off. He doesn't rush the call. He's a very nice young man. So I spent a little bit of my time today making sure that he's going to like the questions. So we got that all squared away. And I hope that you all, as well as Rodney hopes it also, that you will call in tomorrow to the show and that you will be a part of the show. Our show is a very interactive show. We make the community, the city, and everyone welcome to call in. If you are near a radio or near a computer and you want to call in to be a part of the show, to ask Rodney a question that maybe you want to know that maybe I may not think to ask him, you are definitely welcome to call in and do so. The number is 888-860-9673 if you live outside the Austin area. Again, that number is 888-860-9673. If you live inside the Austin area and you want to call in, the number is 512-637-9673. So please feel free to call in and ask your questions to Rodney Allen Rippey. I think my son wants to say something.
Or if you want to call into this show, call into 842-9773. Once again, 842-9773 to call into this show and talk to Robin Johnson live.
Or you can also talk to Ajante as well. We're both here. We're both ready to answer your questions. We're both ready to hear your comments of what you think about this show, Catching Up with Robin, which is my show. My son also has a show, and the name of his show on Spreaker is...
the Ajante Update Show.
So if you have any comments for us or questions for us, he just gave you the number that you can feel free to call in right now and do so. Just remember the area code is 512 because he didn't give that out. And also just an upcoming interview that we're working on for our live radio show that we host here in Austin called Branching Out on Air is an interview with Mr. Vince Young. I learned that on yesterday, Vince graduated from the University of Texas at Austin with a degree in education. So I reached out to his wife and, requested an interview with him. I would love for him to come in studio and talk to us about his recent graduation. And as I was reading about the story myself on MSN.com today, I love his reason for going back to school, his reason for wanting to get his degree. And so we want to invite him to come on to our show, our live show on Branching Out on Air, and just share with listeners, what his inspiration was for wanting to continue his education. Because, he has, of course, a professional, a career in the NFL, and many times when you enter that world and you're living your dream, and you're there and you're doing what you want to do and what you have a passion to do, sometimes education can kind of fall by the wayside, or it's something that you will promise yourself that you will do as time goes on, but you don't really get back around to it for whatever reason. So I think it's a perfect match for Vince to come on and share his inspiration for going back to the University of Texas. We focus on education on our show. We focus on education. And so, I just want the young listeners to be able to hear from Vince's mouth just, what encouraged him to go back to school. So that way our young listeners will know the importance of education. And even if you want to have a career in the NFL or whatever you would like to have a career in, that, education is also important. So I reached out to his wife, and hopefully she will, relay the message to him. I'm sure that she will. She seems to be a very nice lady, and we've corresponded back and forth through text messages and through emails, and she always, like Rodney Allen Rippey, takes time to read my text, to respond back to my text. And so I'm hoping that all will go well and that we will, here in the coming Sundays, be able to have Vince Young on Branching Out on Air. And again, we definitely want you to call in for each and every show. When he's on as well, we will ask him if he will accept calls from the public. And so, you have that to look forward to. We're definitely still working on that for you. And that's pretty much how I spent my day today, was just getting things ready for the show tomorrow. We come on once a week, for now, but there's a lot of work that my son and I put into it, but for us it doesn't feel like work because we enjoy it so much. We love what we do, and we spend a lot of time behind the scene just trying to bring guests on who are interesting, exciting, who will be informative, who will make you laugh. Right now I'm coming up to a commercial break. I hope that you will keep it here, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Catching Up with Robin, broadcasting live from Austin, Texas.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Catching Up with Robin. I'm Robin.
I'm Jonte.
And I hope that you have been enjoying what you've been hearing so far. I wanted to come to you tonight on Spreaker and just update you, as I did in the first half of the show, about the Rodney Allen Rippey interview that will take place by phone live tomorrow on our show, Branching Out on Air, that we host live here in Austin, myself and my 11-year-old son. Please feel free to call in. Rodney is ready for your questions, and so we hope that you will be a part of the show. And remember that the interview time is 1:30 to 2:30 Central Standard Time in Austin, where we live. So Rodney's out in California, so for him the time will be from 11:30 to 12:30, and I believe if you're on the East Coast, it's 2:30 to 3:30. So please feel free. The numbers, we gave them out earlier, but if you're just now joining us after this recent commercial break, I'll give you the numbers again that you can have tomorrow to be able to call in to our live show and be a part of the show with Rodney Allen Rippey. I don't know who wouldn't want to be a part of a show with Rodney Allen Rippey. Many of you may remember him. I know I do. From 1972, he did the commercial for Jack in the Box where he was promoting their Jumbo Jack. And he was this cute kid with this huge afro and chubby, cute little cheeks. And, you know, I was a little girl, maybe 6 or 7 or maybe almost 8, and I remember seeing that commercial. And to me, it's just an honor that I saw it live, that I was born to actually be able to see it on TV. And I always share that with my son, how I saw the actual commercial, how I remember the commercial. And so, you know, that's just a childhood memory for me, just, you know, learning what Rodney Allen Rippey is doing today and, you know, reaching out to him, explaining to him what our objective is for our radio show and having him want to be a part of the show. I mean, I don't take things like that lightly. I don't take things like that as if it's no big deal. I like to show honor. I like to show respect because I feel honored that he told me, yes, he would allow us to interview him on our show, that he's going to take time out of his day to be a part of our show. So I feel honored, and I cannot wait until tomorrow comes. The numbers, as I said, that I would give out again. If you're inside the Austin area, you can dial 512-637-9673. Again, if you live in the Austin area, it's 512-637-9673. If you live outside the Austin area, you can dial 888-860-9673. Again, if you're outside the Austin area, it's 888-860-9673 to be a part of a show that Mr. Rodney Allen Rippey from the Jack in the Box commercial is going to be on. And one thing that my son and I did actually today is we have a Jack in the Box restaurant right around the corner from where we live. And as my son and I were going out today, we stopped there to get some breakfast there, and I actually told my son, I'm going to hand them a flyer. When the gentleman comes back to the window with our food, I'm going to hand him a flyer and just let him know that, hey, you know, a child actor promoted the Jumbo Jack back in the 70s. He's going to be on our radio show tomorrow. And so sure enough, when he handed us our food, I gave him a flyer. I said, my name's Robin. My son and I host our own radio show here in Austin, and I would like to give you a flyer of Mr. Rodney Allen Rippey, who promoted the Jumbo Jack back in the 70s. So he took the flyer, you know, he was excited. He took time to listen to what I was saying. I only took a few minutes of his time because I know that he was there to work. But, you know, I just had, I don't know, an epiphany, I guess you would say, to share that with Jack in the Box. I mean, after all, that was the commercial that, you know, that he, you know, that was the restaurant that Mr. Rodney Allen Rippey did the commercial for, and he said that he would tell the staff and tell the employees. So, you know, we're going to try before we go into the studio tomorrow to go to a couple more Jack in the Box restaurants and just share that flyer